A very good morning and Jai Hind, dear children. Welcome back to my English class. And today, children, what we'll do, we will do one exercise that comes under your reading skills because reading is very important as far as creative writing is also concerned. Why? Because unless you are good in reading and comprehending, how would you do the other things? That means how would you solve the exercises? How would you create expressions for your creative writing? That is the reason why I tell that reading skills need to be enhanced so that you can write better. Okay, so today what we'll do is we'll do a reading exercise from your own Climb with Cornerstone, class 7. It's on page number 189. It's a poem written by George Pope Morris, and the title of the poem is Woodman, Spare That Tree. Okay. All right. So before I start off with this beautiful poem, I would like to share something about the poet, that is George Pope Morris. So let me see what I can find out. Well, here I go. George Pope Morris was a 19th century American poet and a songwriter who also edited newspapers and wrote columns as a literary critic. And one of his famous compositions, well acclaimed composition, was the very poem which we are going to study today. That is Woodman Spare That Tree. Okay, yeah. So this was adapted by humorous singer Phil Harris, who turned it into a very popular song by embellishing it with a few extra jaunty lyrics. Okay, so that means this poem became so much famous that a humorous singer named Phil Harris, added few lyrics to the poem and then created a song. Well, now let's talk about the writer of this poem, that means the poet. The poet is Mr. George Pope Morris. It is George Pope Morris. He was born on 10th of October 1802 in Philadelphia in Pennsylvania. Nothing significant is recorded about his early life, so it is necessary to jump into his late 20s when, with fellow writer and editor Nathaniel Parker Willis, he was responsible for the founding of the New York Evening Mirror newspaper. The pair of them merged two other publications to create something that not only reported the news but also provided literary critiques and covered all kinds of contemporary entertainment. So, this was a paper that obtained a very exclusive advance copy of Edgar Allan Poe's famous poem, The Raven, which was published on 29th of January 1845. So you see, we hardly have anything about his early childhood, but yes, he was the co-founder of New York Evening Mirror newspaper. Okay, now let's talk about the prose and poetry of America. Although a talented writer himself, Morris decided to concentrate on producing a periodical that could be enjoyed by all the family, and with Willis, he founded a magazine which soon became, it was called the Home Journal. Okay. From 1901, it was renamed as Town and Country, a title that can still be found on sale today. Wow, that's great. He had still found the time, though, for his own composition, and in 1838, he published a collection of poetry called The Deserted Bride and Other Poems. So, he was always into writing, and writing. Okay. which proved so popular that it was printed in several editions. The book included a poem that would become famous. Environmentalists would eventually quote lines from it. When music was added, it became widely sung. Reproduced here is that well-known piece. So you see this Woodman Spare, that tree became a worldwide acclaimed, famous poem come song as well. Okay, so now since you all can see, the poem here itself, so I think I need not take the help of my textbook, isn't it? Okay, let's see. Woodman, spare that tree, touch not a single bough. In youth it sheltered me, and I'll protect it now. It was my forefather's hand that placed it near his cot. There, Woodman, let it stand. Thy aches shall harm it not. So, here the poet is actually talking to the woodman, the woodcutter. He's pleading that woodcutter that he should spare that tree and that he should not touch the bough. What is the bough? Bough is nothing but the broad trunk of the tree. Okay, now he's telling the woodcutter that that tree provided shelter to him when he was quite young, and he used to sit there and seek shelter from the heat or maybe the other weather. And now he's saying that he would like to protect it from being cut. Okay, now here the poet is also talking about his forefathers love for the tree. He's saying that his forefather had placed it near his cot. Okay, as if that was the greatest possession. And then he's saying that, hey woodman, let it stand. That means master woodcutter, Mr. Woodcutter, please just let it be where it is. Do not cut, do not put your axe and then start cutting it. So precisely the first stanza talks about the plead of the poet to the woodcutter not to kill, not to start cutting the tree, because he he was having sentiments with it. He said he's talking that how it provided shelter to him when he was very young. Okay, now let's look at the second stanza. That old familiar tree, whose glory and renown are spread over land and sea, and wouldst thou hew it down? Woodman, forbear thy stroke, cut not its earth-bound ties. Oh, spare that aged oak, now towering to the skies. Okay, so you can see that the Old English has also been used. Now where? How do we know? I'll tell you. If you see words like thou, and then you find this words like wouldst, then you have thy. So these are nothing but they are the Old English. Okay, so precisely children, Mr. Morris, he has used such words. It's nothing special about it. It's just the expression that gives an additional effect on the presentation of the poem when you use such old English words. Okay, so now he's saying that this is precisely, it's not a banyan tree, it's not an apple tree, but yes, it is an oak tree. How do we know that? Because you see, there is this line in which it's saying that spare that aged oak. That means it's a very old oak tree which has grown very big. It has become too huge. And then he's pleading, he's saying that the tree has its own glory. It's a very familiar tree. It's a very aged tree. That means everybody knows, everybody's aware of that aged oak tree. And he's just saying that, its glory, its fame has reached overseas also, like people in other country, or maybe living somewhere else, the alien countries, they also know the fame, the aged glory of this oak tree. Okay, so now he's pleading the woodcutter that he should not, do any harm to it. All right, he's pleading like, oh, please spare that aged oak tree. Okay, and he's saying that it has become, look, it has become such a towering to the skies. Means what? It's the poet is talking about its height. Okay, it has become a huge beautiful tree. So he's just pleading not to do a single harm to that tree. Okay, now let's see what is there in the third stanza. When but an idle boy, I sought its grateful shade in all their gushing joy. Here too my sisters played. My mother kissed me here. My father pressed my hand. Forgive this foolish tear, but let that old oak stand. Okay, what a beautiful way of, pleading somebody or trying to convince somebody. Okay, so here, the poet is talking about his own childhood days when he used to remain in quite idle, and he used to just run and seek shade under that tree. And then he's talking about how his sisters used to play under that tree, and how his mother used to, come and kiss him there, on put a peg on his cheek, or maybe kiss him on the forehead, out of affection, the way your parents must be doing when they want to show their love, isn't it? And then he's talking about his father also, how his father pressed his hand. That means, might be they were playing, or they were doing something. So it's just how that oak tree was a part of their family. Okay, so this is precisely, he's trying to convince that woodcutter not to do a single harm to that tree by using his axe and, cut it. All right, so he's saying that, look here, he had spent such beautiful years of his childhood, and that he can't see that tree to, be killed and be cut by the woodman. Okay, so that was the plead to the woodman. And he's simply, pleading and pleading and pleading, requesting him not to just cut it. And he's saying that, please allow that tree to be there as it is, tall and upright. Okay, so now let's see the last stanza. My heartstrings round thee cling, close as thy bark, old friend. Here shall the wild bird sing, and still thy branches bend. Old tree, the storm still brave, and woodman, leave the spot. And woodman, leave the spot, while I have a hand to save. Thy aches shall hurt it not. Okay, so now, what here the poet is saying, he's saying that my heartstrings round thee cling, close as thy bark, old friend. So now he's saying that, I always, my heart goes out when I, see this bark, see the bark of the tree. I feel like hugging it. And it's this tree, it's that tree only where the birds come and sing. And then, the branches also bend at times. When do they bend? When there is strong storm, or maybe the gushing of the wind. Still, what he says is that the tree had stood all the ravages of nature. Okay, and it's saying that, oh woodman, leave the spot. That means he's saying that, oh woodcutter, please just leave the tree there itself, just go away. No need to be there, to stand and then just chop the bark of the tree and then take it away. So he's saying that, I'm there. He's saying that that he was there to save that tree, and he's saying that he won't allow the aches to even give a scratch to the tree. Okay, so that is the feeling which the poet is talking about, his love for that tree, and that he could not stand anyone, or he could not rather allow anyone to harm a little bit to that tree. Okay, so that was really beautiful way. And you can see here that there are few reviews for this. There were many poets who had applauded him. Okay, so he did receive some criticisms also, but then that's quite normal. That happens when you do something really great. You tend to receive some criticisms as well. Okay, so that was a beautiful poem written by George Pope Morris, and it's a beautiful poem in which the poet is talking about not to cut the trees, and that we should be wide awake to save the environment, to save the tree from being cut, whatever be the case. Even if we need to cut, then in that case, although this is not part of your content, but then in a way, he, being a part of being environmentalist, he was against cutting of the trees. Okay, so you see, that was precisely being told through this poem, through this beautiful poem. Now I can see, children, that there are few very simple and interesting exercises. Oh wow. So the very first exercise is it's match the following, in which you need to match the set of words on in column A with that of the column B. The first word is bow. Okay, the rather bow, not bow. I'm so sorry. It's bow, B-O-U-G-H. Second is caught. Third is hue. Then you have phobia. Then it's the Old English words, that is die and thee. Then to your right, you would find the B column, in which the meanings are there. So I'm not going to share the answers right now. I want you all to find out. And yeah, definitely I want you all to do the puzzle also. There is very interesting puzzle on page number 190. So the clues are also there. So I think we can do it in our live sessions. That would be more enjoyable. So that's all from my side. I honestly hope that you all were able to understand this beautiful, simple poem, but yet with a lovely message that it's high time we should be wide awake. Join your hands in what? In making our planet go green. So let's save the environment. Let's save our trees. Let's save our lifelines. Why lifelines? Because the trees, they give us what? Oxygen. And we breathe in oxygen, and that is how we are while alive. Okay, take care. Thank you so much. And we'll meet again in our next class with yet a new topic. Till then, do solve that exercise. Do try to solve the puzzle as well. Thank you and Jai Hind.